Black Jackrabbit here. Pat the Knowles for and the toothing ceremony. And a lesson learned. Pretty much what I did is I had the after the party encountered the I found out that the party, you need healing, regardless of what people say, they still need some healing. It might not be so much in 5th edition now because they can heal up after the battles on their own, but in Pathfinder, which we're playing, you pretty much need healing, or potions or something. And I didn't want to make it just potion. So I kind of added Pat to the party. And my excuse was that she could speak, she could heal her, and she could speak Gnoll, and she knew where the Gnolls were. So while the party was traveling there, they encountered the wolves. They beat up the wolves. Kind of, discovered the secret of the wolves, or somewhat, at least the hint of it. And they ended up finding two bodies, two Gnoll bodies, the Gnolls that pretty much stole the food, that were pretty much chewed up and killed by the wolves. So ended up going to they journeyed to the Gnolls village, who were farmers, and they had cattle, but their cattle, then finding out through Pat translating, was that their cattle died and their crops were bad. I was kind of bad in that I was too railroady on myself, because pretty much the crops were bad, but I was going to have it where they had to actually open the corn up. They saw like little bugs, but they never opened the corn up. But that was my bad, learning from my thing. So pretty much what they did is they went back. They showed the people where the body of the Gnolls were, and I decided that one of the Gnolls was actually the son of the leader. And she was very thankful that, getting her son back. And I kind of, between sessions, I came up with the idea of the toothing ceremony. Pretty much the toothing ceremony was to be a ceremony, kind of like, think of a sweat lodge, like an Indians, they're the kind of shaman Indian ceremony, where they'd be in the cave, and they would have kind of a lamp with teeth on it. What they'd do is they would take the tooth since they're Gnolls, and I'm thinking teeth, they take the tooth of the person that died, and Ferra had this necklace on her made out of teeth. So what my idea for the toothing ceremony was, they would be kind of like in a sweat, they would be something in like a sweat lodge, where it'd be hot, and they would drink some these things, where that they would have quasi hallucinogenic things, and they would put this necklace on this spinning light with a spinning light, a lamp, and they would spin it, and it would create shadows. After a while, the shadows would appear as the shadows would appear as the Gnolls, and and my idea with this is that eventually they would spin and spin and spin, and the Gnolls, the ancestors, would come into there, and then the tooth would become part with the necklace. So it's kind of like the heirloom of the family necklace. It would be added to the family necklace. My idea behind this then was that during this ceremony, that they would relive the son's life, see him growing up, and I would describe things up to probably before his death, maybe a little bit of his death, and that they would describe it and they'd relive his life. But in doing so, I was going to grant since they relived his life, they were going to actually learn the Gnoll language, and they were also going to be given a tooth, which then could be used to maybe draw upon at times for help, for the ancestral help of the Gnolls to come to their aid. Unfortunately, this kind of came to pass. One of the characters was like, I kind of like that he did this now, because it created a lot more funness for the game, but my whole thing was I put all my designs for that one session into just that whole ceremony. And he's like, oh no, they're savages. I'm not gonna do this crap. I'm heading back to town. So I was like sitting there dumbfounded, like, what the crap? So then they went back to town. So I had, you know, these pages of notes and stuff, kind of ideas. And then he was describing what was going on, what happened, and telling them how they're savages and everything. So what I did was I just played with this whole idea of them being savages and his describing, and people in the background, yeah, we got to do something about the savages. We can't have them on our borders. And pretty much through his describing and things at the town meeting about this, because he put a town meeting together, I kind of turned the town against the Knowles, which I thought was kind of, I had no idea that was going to happen, but I thought it was cooler than crap that they did this. And that was a very important lesson. A, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And B, if the party comes up with something more interesting, go with it. And I thought that was very interesting. My plans eventually were that kind of after this it kind of fizzled because I'll talk about it in another video. But for my plans for the Knowles eventually were that Pat was pretty much released from her duty to watch the character and the character's dad, and that she was going to take the Knowles, or try to take the Knowles away from the town, because they were eventually going to be a conflict, and the town was going to attack the Knowles. And she was going to take him to an elven city where she knew they were hidden, and that's kind of where it kind of went. The campaign kind of came to a halt. But I'll talk about that in another video.